welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Emma if you're new here, and happy October. I love this month so much, not only because it's my birthday month, but because I love the fall reading. I love that it kind of has a spooky feel to it, and so I really look forward to some thrillers and high fantasy. And although I'm not the biggest Halloween reader, like I don't really read like Halloween books or witchy books really, I do love this month for reading, and I love that it's a peak fall, and I love all the colors and the ambiance, and I even have my cute little ghost dog crew neck on. I just think it's perfect. So anyway, let's just get started with this video. If you don't know how these videos work, this is my prompt jar. There's a bunch of little prompts in here that will lead me to pick 5 books from my TBR. This is my TBR jar. It's got a whole bunch of mini books in here. So I'm gonna pick 5 prompts and then 5 books, and then I'm gonna pick a 6th book, and that's gonna be a free pick. So if there's new releases out that I really want to read, or just something that's seasonal, which will probably be the case, to be honest, let's just get started. So what I'm really in the mood for this month are thrillers. Fall and winter are the months that I really crave thrillers, that I crave something bingeable and easy, especially because my goal for this year is to read 50 books, which has been my goal for the past few years of reading, and I'm running a bit behind. And I know I blame everything on wedding planning, but like if you've planned a wedding, you know what it's like to like have all your spare time taken up by wedding planning. So I'm a little bit behind, so I might not be picking super chunky books, and thrillers are just so easy to binge and they're typically not long. So I'm really in the mood for thrillers. I'm in the mood for some fantasy. I don't really know that I want to start a new series just because there's some series I want to get done and finish up, and there's also some new releases and new books added to my TBR that I'm excited about. And I could go for some romance, but not really like rom-com-y, if that makes sense. So with that being said, let's pick our first prompt out of the prompt jar. This says, a book with a white cover. Okay, let me see. Okay, I'm seeing right away Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie. If you don't know what this book is, this is from the Calloway Sister series. I started making my way through the Addicted series, and I'm following Christina Lauren. I did this in the last video. I'm following Krista and Becca Ritchie's reading order for this world. So after Addicted for Now, which is the 3rd Addicted book, you go into the first Calloway Sister series. So this is Kiss the Sky, and I'm very interested in reading that. So this could be a good contender. Let me just look and see what else I have. Okay, I have Tell Me 3 Things. This is a YA romance book. I think it's more emotional, if I'm remembering correctly. I honestly don't know anything about this book. I just read the synopsis and put it on my TBR list, and so this could be an option as well. I have The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. This is the first in the, why am I gonna say Dirty Air? No, I feel like, isn't Dirty Air like this series? This is Throttled by Lauren Asher, and I think this is part of the Dirty Air series. I forget what this series is called, but I just call it the Cruel Prince series. So there's this one, and there's also Throttled by Lauren Asher. This is like a F1 driver's romance series. I think this is her first kind of popular one, so I have this one in here. I also want to read I think it's the Lakefront Billionaires, where it's like kind of based off of like Disney a little bit. I don't know, but there's that one. I also have Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen. This is the same author as Find Your People, which I have read and I really enjoyed. And this one is about like toxic thoughts and just like stopping from spiraling and anxiety and stuff like that. So I think that could be a good book as well. I also have Rock, Paper, Scissors by Alice Feeney. This is definitely a winter mystery book, and I think I'm gonna save that for winter, so I'm not gonna add that one. And I don't know if this is a white cover or not. I think it's giving more cream, but this is The Cheerleaders by Kaza Thomas, and this is like a YA mystery or thriller. And then I have Spark of the Everflame. This one is not fully white, but I'm gonna consider it. And I think that's YA fantasy. Yeah, those are all the options I have. I honestly have a lot, so I'm just gonna weed out the ones I'm not really in the mood for. Obviously, I'm not gonna go with Alice Feeney's Rock, Paper, Scissors. I'm not gonna go with Spark of the Everflame just because I have just started a new fantasy series. Not really in the mood for Cruel Prince, to be honest. I'm gonna take out Tell Me Three Things and Throttled just because I'm not really in the super romancy mood. Now it's between Get Out of Your Head and Kiss the Sky, and I think I want to continue this series, so I'm gonna go with Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie, and this is my first pick for prompt number 1. I gotta put these all back in the jar. All right, let's pick prompt number 2. So it says a book with the word you in the title. Okay, I know for sure that I have You with a View by Jessica Joyce. This is like a contemporary romance. I think it's very rom-com-y, and I feel like it's kind of giving summer vibes. So I don't know if I'm really in the mood for a rom-com, but it might be a good palette cleanser. Ooh, okay, I found another, and this is Do I Know You? And honestly, my print of this is too small to be able to see the author, but it's definitely a summery romance book, and I definitely don't want to read this one. Like if I had to pick You with a View or this one, it wouldn't be this one, so I'm just gonna put this back. So those are our only 2 options, so I guess I'm going with You with a View by Jessica Joyce. I don't know that I'm gonna get to this book, to be honest, because I'm not really in the mood for that, but it might be a good palette cleanser if I get a lot of heavy books or fantasy books. But anyway, let's go into prompt number 3. Oh, I picked 2. Let me go with the bigger one, just because I've been picking tiny ones. This says, why do I keep dropping everything today? A book you've been avoiding reading. Okay. I picked this in the last video, and I don't really know that I wanted to pick that prompt again. Maybe it was because it was sitting at the top and I didn't give it enough of a shake. So since we got it in the last video, I don't think I should reuse it just because I have so many prompts in here. So we're just gonna like leave that one out, and I'll try to like mix this just so it's better. Okay, let's pick one. This one says a book with a 4 or more word title. Wow. Okay, 4 or more words is kind of a rare one. So here I go, dumping out my jar again. Okay, maybe meant to be, that's 4. I have a Christmas book that I'm not reading this month. There's My Life with the Walter Boys. You guys know that this is on one of my books that I want to read this year. And I do really want to get to it because I have a Spanish copy of it that I bought in Spain, and I really have wanted to read more in Spanish because if you didn't know, my mom is from Spain, and so I grew up being fluent in Spanish, but it definitely costs me more than it does speaking and reading in English. So I want to have that so when I'm not with my Spanish family, I still have some sort of practice and a little bit of Spanish. So this is definitely an option, and I feel like I should get to it, but it just takes me so long to read in Spanish, unfortunately. Things We Never Got Over could work, but I don't want to read that. It's giving summer. Okay, we found some possible contenders. So we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. This is kind of more of a almost like a paranormal book. I believe she like makes this deal with darkness, I think, where I think she can live forever, but she's forgotten by everyone. So like every encounter with a person, they forget her after that encounter, but someone remembers her after their first encounter. So I think that's what this one is about, and this honestly could be a really good book for this time of year. And the print is really dark on my tiny book, but that's what it looks like. And then we have a ballad The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. This is the prequel to the Hunger Games series, and I read the Hunger Games in middle school or high school, and I really enjoyed them. I didn't really love the last book. I didn't really understand what was going on. There was just a lot of war terms and it was kind of hard to follow in my opinion. And me and Levi have been watching the movies, and since it's been so long, I don't really want to reread the books. I'd rather just rewatch the movies, and we got halfway through the Mockingjay Part 2, and so we're almost done with it. And so I would love to watch The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and I haven't watched that movie yet because I didn't know if I wanted to read the book yet, and all my friends have already watched it, and I'm someone that loves to watch movies with other people, especially if they're like intense movies. And so I haven't watched that movie yet, but I do want to, but I think I want to read the book first, and so I should really get on to watching that last Hunger Games movie and then getting into this book. So this is definitely a contender as well. A Court of Mist and Fury, I actually did read ACOTAR in September, and so you guys will see my thoughts in my wrap up whenever that comes out, but A Court of Mist and Fury could be a contender for this as well, along with Get Out of Your Head by Jenny Allen. I know which one I should pick, and that should be My Life with the Walter Boys. Okay, we have 2 romance so far, so because of that, I'm gonna put this one back in the jar. I'm thinking of the length of these books as well, and A Court of Mist and Fury, I really want to read it, but it's like a really thick book. I actually do have it sitting here because I knew that this might be an option. Like, look at how big this book is. It's like massive, and I do really want to jump right back into it, but I don't know if I'm gonna reach my goal of 50 books, and to me that goal is like one of my biggest goals. Like, of all of my reading goals, that's my biggest, is to finish my 50 books. And it helps me when I'm like kind of slumping to be like, you've got a goal to reach, and I do have to read 6 books a month to reach that goal. And if I read this book, I don't know that I will hit that goal. This is so hard. I'm really craving the Hunger Games one though, so I think I'm gonna go with The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I feel like this could be very good for this time of year. This one follows President Snow before he was ever involved in the Hunger Games and like how this all came to be, and I honestly don't know much about it. I just hear that it was so good and that the movie was done so well, so I'm really excited about this, and I think that this would be really good. I need to like hurry things up. The past 2 videos I went speedy fast, which is awesome, but I am a yapper at heart. Okay, prompt number 4, I mean. A book with an orange cover. You guys know which one has an orange cover. We're just gonna ignore that. Alex Approximately, this could be gold or orange. This is a very summery book. When in Rome by Sarah Adams. She just writes like super quick and easy rom-coms. So that could be a palette cleanser, even though we already have some romance. Fourth Wing, I don't know if this is orange or gold. I would say this is gold. But yeah, those are my only options. My Life with the Walter Boys, When in Rome, and Alex Approximately. And I'm gonna put Alex Approximately back because that's a summary book, and I think that this is my sign to read My Life with the Walter Boys. I feel like this has been an option for every single prompt, and I've been ignoring it. So I'm gonna read My Life with the Walter Boys. On to prompt number 5. We still don't have a mystery thriller book, and this is my last prompt that I'm gonna pick before my free pick. And I honestly don't really know what my free pick is gonna be, just because there aren't any like new releases that I'm super excited about necessarily, and I know that there are some books that I want to get to and some mystery thrillers, so maybe that will be what I pick, but we're just gonna let the TBR jar do its thing, and I really hope that it gives me something that I want. Okay, here we go. A book with a name in the title. Okay, I know for sure that we have The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. that is definitely one. So I went through my entire jar, and the only ones I have are The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and Alex Approximately. And you guys know I don't want to read a summer book in fall, so Alex Approximately is back in the jar, and so that leaves us with The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, which honestly I'm not mad about it because this is a book that I have wanted to read in the fall specifically. And so that is my 5th prompt. Now it's time for my free pick, and I had Truly Devious on my September TBR, and I actually started the audiobook for this but hated the voice. She's supposed to be a teenager, the main character, and the voice actress is definitely like an older woman, and she just has this way of speaking that's just like, oh no, kind of like that, and I just could not take it, and so I stopped listening to it. But this is kind of giving dark academia a little bit. Not that I think I've ever read a true dark academia book, but it's about like this girl who goes to this school, and it's for people that are like super smart or have like special abilities. It's almost like The Naturals, but more of like an intellectual thing. And she goes to the school, and this school is like in the middle of nowhere, and there's like a dark history with the school. Something happened in the past, and you're kind of uncovering the mystery of that. But I think that there's going to be another mystery that's uncovered or something. I'm only like 15% through, so it's really only like this much of the book. But I have wanted to start the series, and I do want like some sort of mystery book in this. So this is an option, and this is actually my book. I own this. Another option is Glorious Rivals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, and this is her new release. This is in the, oh, what's it called? The Grandest Game, I think. Yeah, The Grandest Game, which is the spinoff of the Inheritance Game series, and you're kind of following the characters after the Inheritance Game series ends, and a whole new set of characters. And the last book ended on a cliffhanger but came out quite a bit ago, and so I am gonna have to refresh on what that's about. And to be honest, I'm not like super in the mood for this, but it is a new release, and I have it from the library. It was just sitting on the shelves, which is crazy to me because usually new releases get swiped up fast at the library. So this is an option as well. And then I also have Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig, and this is the second book in the One Dark Window duology. And I actually read this book, the first book, in April, and it was like just as it was starting to get warm outside and feel like summer, and so it was definitely the wrong time to read a dark fantasy book. And I have always said like I want to continue this series in the fall because it just gives like those spooky like fog and like dying trees and like this gate. Like look at the cover and like tell me that this is not screaming Halloween time. So this is a really high contender as well. There's also Heartless Hunter or The Crimson Moth. It's a duology or a series, I don't know, but it's about a witch, and she, in this fantasy world, witches are hunted and killed, and there is also a witch hunter who is trying to obviously hunt down the witches. And this witch, who's called like the Crimson Moth or whatever, she disguises herself to be part of like the high class people, and she ends up hanging out with the witch hunter to try to get information, and then bringing all that back to the witches to like be able to hide and protect them. But there isn't enemies to romance, and I hear so many good things about this duology, and I just can't find a better time to read a witch hunter duology than in the fall time. And so this is very high on my TBR as well. And then I also have The Intruder by Frida McFadden. This is actually her new release coming out this month, and it's about an intruder. What I've read so far is that this woman finds this girl on like her back patio or something, and she's crying and she's really distressed, and sort of weird things start to happen. And so that could be really good. I love Frida McFadden books. They're just so fast-paced, and fun, and I always feel like that thrill of adrenaline, and she's definitely my favorite mystery thriller author. Another option is The Maidens by Alex Michaelis. This is the same author as The Silent Patient. Loved that book, and this is dark academia and kind of Greek mythology, and I've heard a lot of good things about this book, and so I feel like October would be a great time to read that book. And then I also have Unwanted by Mia Sheridan. I actually have heard very little about this little series, and Mia Sheridan is the same author that wrote, why am I forgetting the name of this book? Archer's Voice, and I absolutely loved that. And that was definitely very romance heavy, and I hear that this has romance in it too, but it's kind of about like this secluded like little village or cabin or something, and there's mysterious deaths happening, and it has to do with like monsters in the woods, I think, and it's giving very spooky and thrilling vibes, and I think that this just like would be a great book to read in fall. And then the new one to this series, I'll put a picture of the cover here. It has like fall leaves and it just looks very fall, so maybe this would be a good duology or series. I don't really know what it is, but it sounds really good, and it's kind of giving like Wednesday vibes a little bit, like monsters and secluded and mysteries and mysterious deaths, and so maybe this would be a good option. But yeah, those are a lot of options for my free pick. I don't think that I should start a new series, and so I'm gonna put Truly Devious, Unwanted, and Heartless Hunter back in the jar. And I also put back The Maidens by Alex Michaelis, just because that's one of the ones that I'm least in the mood for. And so that leaves us with continued series. So I could do Glorious Rivals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I could do Two Twisted Crowns, or a mystery thriller. So these are my top picks, and I think I'm leaning more towards Two Twisted Crowns, just because I've been saying I'm gonna read that book in September or October, and it is October, so it's time to read this book, and it would just be really good to cross off a duology off of my list and finally read this, and I think I'm really gonna enjoy the vibes of this. So Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig is my final book, but let's go over all the books on my October TBR really quick. So we have You With a View by Jessica Joyce. This is a contemporary romance or rom-com, and I honestly don't know much about it. I just know it has something to do with a road trip, and I think it has something to do with like photography or like social media or a blog or something like that. This is the one I'm like least excited to read, so I probably won't read this month, but maybe I will. And then we have Kiss the Sky by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This is continuing the Addicted Calloway sister world, and if you don't know what that is, it's about two characters. We are following Lily Calloway as one of the sisters, and then Lo, and they have been best friends for pretty much their whole life. Their families are really close, and they come from like really rich families who are very well known to the public. They own big companies, and they both have grown up in kind of complicated situations, like their parents aren't the greatest, and they have developed addictions, and both of their addictions are secret to everyone else but each other, and they know that if these addictions of theirs are brought to the light, that they will be shamed and their families will be really looked down upon by the public and the news, and that their families will probably disown them. And so they're like, let's keep these addictions secret. And so when they go to college, they're like, let's look out for each other, and the only way that we'll be able to look out for each other and that our families won't worry about us in college is if we are roommates and pretend that we're dating. And so they've been pretending that they've been dating. It's gotten to the point where things are getting pretty messy, and they're realizing that like maybe it's time to get better, but because they're both addicts to different things, it meshes. They are trying to work on their addictions, and the relationship is maybe becoming real and not just friends. And so that is the story of those two, but then you're also getting like side glimpses into the sisters and the sisters' lives and their hobbies and passions and careers, and also a little bit into their love lives. And so I'm really excited to get into Kiss the Sky, because this is following one of the sisters that I really like, and haven't read one of these books since I think spring or summer. So I'm very excited about that. And then we have The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I already gave the synopsis for this, but I'm very excited to read this and then get to watch the movie. And then we have My Life with the Walter Boys. This is a YA romance about a girl who goes to live with, I forget who, like how this family is related. Maybe they're friends or something, but she goes and lives in another country with, is it another country? I don't even remember. But she goes to live with the Walter family, and there's just like a bunch of boys in the house, and she's, I think, the only child, or has only ever had sisters, and so she's just like adjusting to like new life with this family. And I've heard a lot of good things about it, and I don't know that I've heard great things about the Netflix show, to be honest, but that's normal when it comes to Netflix shows, to be honest. But yeah, I really should read this book. And then we have Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. This is kind of a complicated dark fantasy to explain, but basically in this world there is this like plague or like disease that has come through like the fog, I think, and people have gotten infected with it, and the government or the kingdom is trying to get rid of people who have been infected. And our main character, Elspeth, has been infected with this disease as a kid, and her family decided to hide it, and she has just been going through life like hiding this disease, and she doesn't tell anyone, but there's like this, she calls it the nightmare, and it's just like this darkness in her mind, and it's like this like creature, and it kind of like helps her and like tells her what to do, and like has a mind of its own. And there's like kind of like this rebellion against the kingdom to stop like killing people of this disease, and so she joins this rebellion. You have to collect these magic cards, and the cards are like different powers. So if you use one card, you like gain its power. So like you could become invisible, or you could like read minds or things like that. And so they have to collect all 12 cards, and some of them are like super rare, and so they are like collecting them from really rich noble people and stuff like that. And so they're trying to get all these cards to lift the plague or the disease and fix the world. And I ended on a really big cliffhanger, and so I'm really excited to get back into this, and I definitely need to do a little refresh on that. And then the last book we have is The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue, and I did already describe this. Yeah, that is my TBR this month. I didn't get any mystery or thrillers, but that's okay. We have some atmospheric books in here, and I really hope that I enjoy these books this month. And I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you get notified anytime I post. And let me know if you have any of these books on your TBR, or let me know any of the books on your October TBR if you've made it this far. Yeah, make sure to follow me on all my social media platforms, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!